Yo, what is up guys, Grim here, and in today's video we're going to be going through my top league start currency making strategies for the new league. So, without further ado, let's dive into the good stuff. So the first thing you guys are going to want to figure out is what kind of build you're playing. So what build you play will dictate what the best currency making strategies are for you. If you're playing a bosser, you're much more likely to do things like Metamorph and, like Shaper and stuff like that. But if you're playing a mapper, you're probably much more likely to get into that Legion action, or maybe go after a bit of Beyond or Breach. So that's really going to play a large part. So I ask you guys right now, which one are you? Well, that's going to decide which one of these things is most relevant for you. But first off, let's get into a fairly broad one. The best and most important strategy you guys need to know is the Chaos Recipe. The Chaos Recipe is going to give you an unfathomable advantage over everybody else and turbocharge your progression way more than it should be otherwise. So doing the Chaos Recipe early allows you to essentially get ahead of the pack, get better gear, and accelerate through the Atlas at a point where you should not really be able to through trading. So a good example for this is if you're a bow character, you could get a Lionized Fall. If you're a Golem character, you could get a Primordial Might. If you're a physical based character like a Blade Blast or a Blade Vortex, you could get a Cold Iron Point. Now, the Chaos Recipe, all you need to do is once you hit Blood Aqueducts or a level 60 or higher zone, pick up rare items until you have a full set of gear. So that's either a two-handed weapon or two one-handers, 2 rings, and one of every other slot. Hand them into the vendor unidentified and rare, and they'll give you back 2 Chaos Orbs. Very, very powerful indeed, and it's going to get you ahead of everyone else. The reason being is because there's not a lot of Chaos Orbs early. Everyone's trying to sell their stuff to get ahead early, and all of the items that do drop from stuff like Ritual, they get flogged off real cheap. A good example of this is, for example, Lionized Fall Gem I mentioned earlier. Generally, it starts off like 25 to 30 C in the first few hours, and then it goes all the way up to 2x by the end of the day. If you can get that early with Chaos Recipe, then you're in a big winning position, and you have saved a ton of currency. Get that edge early, use the Chaos Recipe. Let's move into some more mapping-based strategies now. Let's get into Incursion and Betrayal, because these bad boys are going to be an absolute money must. So, the thing that makes Incursion and Betrayal so lucrative are the following strategies. You can flip some of the following items to make massive profits. So in the Incursion Temple, you have the option to get a Sacrificial Room. A Sacrificial Room will allow you to sacrifice a vial and a certain unique item to upgrade it to the next rank. You need a rank 3 Sacrificial Room for this, but if you get one, you can expect to make, 40 times your money back over. This site shows that, you can get an item like the Slave Driver's Hands. These are standard prices, of course, but they will be very good in the league as well. You can get like an item like this, use the vial on it. So for this one, it's the Architect's Hand and the Vial of Dominance, and it'll turn it into a 400 Chaos item on standard right now. That's almost 400 Chaos pure profit. Very, very insane. I've seen this and done this plenty of times every league, and every time you get that tier 3 corruption chamber, tier 3 sacrifice chamber, you're basically getting a massive paycheck. You can go buy a 6 linker most likely, you could buy tons of, sextants, you could buy a really key item for your build, all just from that one flip of an item into something better. Incursion is completely insane, and the new ascendancy nodes on the tree make it even better. If you want to try and pursue Incursion, I would highly recommend investing in the Incursion nodes, which are, let's just track it down here, I have it here somewhere, Incursion in Glenage Cairns. If you spec into the Incursion nodes there, you have a significantly higher chance of getting Sacrificial Rooms, and this is going to be a very big money spinner in the first week. It'll probably be good all week and probably into week 2 as well. So what items do you want to be looking to convert? The best ones early are probably the Transcendent Jewels. So you start off with, for example, a Tempered Spirit, a Tempered Flesh, and you convert it into a Transcendent Spirit or a Transcendent Flesh. But you can access this website. It'll have the league start prices on it for the league start, of course, and it'll show you what the most profitable one to do is at any given point. So then you just buy the base, buy the vial, sacrifice it, and sell that item, maybe even a little bit cheaper to get rid of quick, and you're on your way to your next build defining unique. Absolutely awesome. Let's move on to Betrayal. So Betrayal is a bit of a complicated mechanic, but once you have it down and you're targeting research with it that fled, making sure he's the leader, rank 3, and you're going to be making an absolute killing. Why are you going to be able to make an absolute killing? Well, you will be able to convert breach stones into their pure counterparts. This is something that is very easy and very quick to do, assuming you have access to Jun missions, which you absolutely will have access to with the new ascendancies on the Atlas. If you want to go for this strategy, the one you want to go for is in fact Valdo's Rest. You'll be able to get some additional chance at Jun, and you'll also be able to get double the rank ups from slaying Immortal Syndicate members. Very, very powerful for getting it that fled to rank 3 quick and getting that intelligence. You get more intelligence for interrogating rank 3 members, meaning this is a massive speed boost to your betrayal endeavors. Why do you want to do that? Well, of course, the breach stone flips. So if you look here, maximum profit one is generally always going to be Chayula. So you can see here, if you buy a Chayula stone for 114C right now on standard and flip them, you make a 228C profit. The cool thing about Betrayal is you get 2 of these benches, so you can flip 2 Chayula breach stones for a total of 400 chaos profit right now on standard. These prices will be similar in League. They may be a bit higher or they may be a bit lower. Not sure, most likely a little bit on the lower side to begin with, but pure stones have a massive demand for them because they are guaranteed to drop a Chayula unique and a Chayula blessing, which is absolutely a chase item in the first week to get the presence of Chayula Amulet, which is definitely a very powerful item. So super, super good. If you go after Betrayal, you're going to have a good time. So these two mechanics are fairly generic. They probably favor boss killers a little bit more than map clearers. Map clearers will probably be able to get more encounters, but they might struggle with them a little bit more. Boss killers are going to be able to take these down no problem. So very, very good indeed. Let's move on to door number 3. So the next one is Metamorph. Metamorph is absolutely insane. Metamorph Scarabs, Metamorph on the Ascendancy tree is crazy. It drops Catalyst. Catalysts increase the effectiveness of belts and jewelry, and each Metamorph you slay has a guaranteed chance to drop Catalysts. It is built into the mechanic itself. You will always be awarded catalysts for every Metamorph you do, and if you get some fertile catalysts, they're worth about 1 to 2 chaos each at league start. So if you get one of them, boom, straight in the bank. And you can get these very consistently on a lot of your maps using the new ascendancies as well. One of the ascendancies actually allows you to construct 2 Metamorphs in one map. Let's see if we can check it down here. Yeah, here it is here. You can assemble an additional Metamorph in areas after the first is dead. So generally, Metamorph Scarabs are a very good way to trigger Metamorph if you don't just have them already in your map. I would highly recommend investing in Metamorph Scarabs if you're a boss killing character, if your mapper can handle it. Also a fantastic way to make currency. It's not just the fertile catalyst either. You can get a ton of currency. You get a ton of options for like something like scarabs, maps, all this kind of stuff like that. Metamorphs drop a ton of loot. Very, very good indeed. And of course, you do get the option to go into Tane's laboratory after you've slain enough. Boss killers, this is going to be one of your main map juicing options, and I would recommend running it on as many maps as you can possibly do. If you can get your hands on those scarabs, I absolutely would do so. That's what I'm going to be doing. You can bet your biscuits. So let's move on. Next up, we have Legion. Legion is definitely more for those zoomers. Let's get into the Legion scarabs, shall we? These are pretty interesting. So in past leagues, I've run tests, and these are the results. Right now in standard, if you run a Legion Scarab, even at Rusted, you're going to make 5 chaos profit. And I highly expect that the results will reflect the standard prices right now in the next league. Rusted Legion Scarabs probably start out pretty high, but you will be making money off them because emblems also start out way higher than they are. Of course, this website will reflect the prices in League, so you can just take a little bit of a peek, and you can see if Legion Scarabs are worth it. But if you're a mapper, you're going to want to probably invest into a combo of Gilded Legion Scarabs and the Legion map device modifier on Zana. That doubles the effect of Gilded Legion Scarabs. And if you take a quick sticky beak here at the results, so you have a 1% emblem completion for Maraketh on Rusted, but guess how much you have? You have 5% emblem completion per Legion Scarab on Gilded. So if you use Zana and a Gilded Legion Scarab, you're going to get 10% of a Maraketh emblem without the use of Atlas Ascendancies. and without the use of those watchstones that we saw on the trailer. But it gets even better. So a large portion of the difference between gilded and rusted scarabs is the fact that you get the guaranteed generals. And one of the nodes in Glenage Cairns juices up those generals by 100%. So you can literally get insane value from those gilded Legion scarabs if you're strong enough to slay the general and all of the monsters. That's going to be critical, and if you're a build that can do it, you better believe you're going to be making a lot of money off of selling emblems to other players. Very, very good. Let's move on. This one is for everyone. You should be using sextants immediately, as soon as possible, and as soon as you can get your hands on them. Sextants are going to be incredibly powerful in the next patch for a number of reasons, but one of them is the sextant modifier. Tormented Spirit possessed monsters drop scarabs. So when you roll this sextant, you can abuse a brand new ascendancy on the Atlas called Seance. Seance essentially possesses 20 rare monsters in an area, or up to 20, which is incredibly powerful when combined with that Watchstone modifier. When you get that Sextant modifier on your Watchstone, you should pull it out and put it into Lex Proxima, where you absolutely should have spec'd Seance as your first point. Then you get a free 9 scarabs, because every single Sextant gets 3 charges, 3 maps, 9 scarabs. Easy money. As we were just talking about scarabs then, you can see that they're going to be in high demand. So you're going to be able to sell these for a pretty good profit. You're probably going to make 20C per time you roll that sextant fairly easily. I don't imagine many scarabs selling for under 2 chaos unless they're like Parandus or something like that. So very, very powerful. Get into those sextants and make sure you're rolling and using those ghosted sextant modifiers on Lex Proxima. Very, very good indeed. Next up, we have another map clear one, and that is 1 Delirium Orb farming. So 1 Delirium Orb farming is actually incredibly profitable if you can get your hands on them. Not only do you get the Simulacrum Splinters, which are pretty good, or the chance at a unique cluster jewel, which can be sold for quite a bit, you also get the opportunity to trigger all these new insane Delirium modifiers in Lex Ajoris. So when running Delirium in Lex Ajoris, you have 100% chance for more unique bosses, 100% more Simulacrum Splinters off them, and 100% chance at the unique cluster jewels. In addition to that, you have a 15% chance to get 3 additional rewards on your Delirium Orbs. When you're running 1 Delirium Orb, that really scales very, very effectively indeed. Completely insane. In addition to that, you also can pick the most profitable Delirium Orb for you. So again, we'll use Stand as an example, but if you check it out, when you're getting 5 reward tiles filled, so that's when the bar fills up 5 times and it drops, you can see that here, that right now, obscured Delirium Orbs are 30C profit. And if you were able to sell everything from a timeless Delirium Orb and sell those incubators, you'd be making a pretty profit there too. So pretty interesting, and all of these prices that you see here don't even in fact include the Simulacrum Splinters or any of the unique jewels that you're going to get. So pretty damn good in my opinion. Pretty cool. You can farm that as either a bosser, but it definitely does favor mappers. And in addition to that, you're going to get that free reward as well. It could be anything. You could put on an Amorphous Delirium Orb and then also get the bonus of a Skittering Delirium Orb. Incredibly profitable. Very, very good indeed. Now, of course, let's get to the big one, the massive earner that most people are going to be looking at when they're starting off as a boss character. Let's look at the bosses. So what are your options and what is good? So early on, you have quite a lot of options. You can go with Breach. You could go with any of the powerful bosses, like you go Uber-Ziri, Shaper, Elder, anything. All of them will actually be extremely profitable early on. Now, the catch with bosses is that the longer the league goes, the less profitable they will become. Again, reference the website, it'll tell you the general profitability of them, but just a bit of a hint, early on, Chayula is very, very profitable, Shaper is very, very profitable, Uber-Ziri is very, very profitable, and Elder is very, very profitable. Now, these fall off fairly quickly. A good one to note is also, if you can do it and you can get a hold of it, if you want to gamble, you can also go with Cortex.
Cortex has an incredibly high buy-in, but if you do get lucky and you get the Bottled Faith on League Start, I know it doesn't look like it here, but these are standard prices, of course, you will make an insane killing. These are most likely going to be very, very positive. I expect all of these to be green on League Start in terms of their return, and it's going to be completely insane. In addition to that, you can also farm Guardian maps. Elder Guardian maps aren't on here, but they're also a very good choice, and sell the fragment. A good thing there is that you get to kill the end boss, get the fragment, and that generally pays for the whole map. Fragments generally equal or exceed the price of a Guardian map, so you're essentially buying T16 maps for free, which is pretty cool in my opinion, and you're going to make quite a lot of currency doing that. You do also have the small chance of getting something like a Brass Dome, which I imagine should be worth a little bit as well at League Start. So those are going to be my top strategies for making a bit of cash early on with a reasonably geared character. Of course, we're not talking any insane strategies like fractured orb farming or, 5-way emblems. Those are not what everyone's going to be doing. Focus on what I just said, and you're absolutely going to make quite a bit of early currency in the first week. If you roll one of those sacrificial rooms or you get that fled in research, you're going to notice a massive spike in your currency, and it's going to be really, really profitable. Keep an eye on this space. You will have plenty of other tips to make tons more currency as well coming, and I'll be updating everyone daily on my progress, and you guys can get the inside scoop on everything Echoes of the Atlas. So until then, cheers.